everyone, good morning to everyone. Okay, so yesterday we started the lesson metals and non-metals. So I'll just write the lesson name first. Metals and non-metals. Okay, in the last session we discussed about the metals physical properties, metals definition, non-metals definition, and physical properties of metals and non-metals, as well as we discussed about the some important exceptional cases that is very important, that will be asked in the exams. So we have to focus on more on that topic. Next is today I am going to discuss about the metals reacting with water. So reaction of metals with the water, how it is, and the type of reaction is there, so that I will discuss now. So first I will write here reactions of metals with water. Okay, so all the metals will not react with water. There are some metals they will not react at all. So we will start from the beginning. Which are the metals reacting with the cold water, hot water, and which is not reacting with the steam as well, and which is not reacting at all with the water. So we will discuss step by step. First, I will discuss about the reaction of metals with water. So if metal reacts with the water, metals reacts with the water to form metal oxide and hydrogen gas. Okay, so this is the common reaction. Metals reacts with the water to form a metal oxide and hydrogen. We can write in the form of reaction metal plus water, metal oxide plus hydrogen gas. Okay, so this is the example of normal metals react with the water, metal oxide plus H2. So, but this is not the cases for everything. There are some case studies will be there in exams. So that for that reason we have to discuss in a detail about this metal oxide also. So this metal oxide again reacts with the water. They will dissolve in water and they form again metal hydroxide. So metal oxide soluble in water, they dissolve in water and form metal hydroxide and H2 gas. So this is the second case. In this case, metal oxide again they will react with the water, because these metal oxides are soluble. So all the metal oxides are not soluble in water. Those who are soluble in water, they again dissolve in it and form a metal hydroxide and hydrogen gas. So next we will discuss about the potassium and sodium, how they react with water. So potassium and sodium, they react with the water very vigorously. They and hydrogen gas, which is evolved from that reaction, that will catch fire immediately. So we'll discuss here sodium and potassium. They react with water vigorously. Sodium and potassium react with water violently and produce a heat energy. So we just call it as a exothermic reaction and evolves H2 gas and heat energy. So that is the reason sodium and potassium we are not keeping in water. Sodium and potassium always we are keeping in a kerosene oil. Why? To protect it from explosion. So heat and energy. So we'll write here one of the, we can take any sodium or potassium. So potassium plus water, it gives potassium hydroxide plus H2 plus heat energy. What is meant by exothermic and endothermic? The reaction in which if heat is getting evolved, we call it as exothermic, and the reaction in which if heat energy is getting absorbed in this reaction only, we call it as endothermic. But in this case, this reaction of sodium sodium and potassium with water, it is an exothermic reaction. Okay, so next next element we can take metal. Next we can take a calcium. If calcium reacts with water, actually calcium reacts very less, it is a very less reactive with water. So if calcium reacts with water, it forms calcium hydroxide. Calcium reacts with water. Calcium reacts with the water to produce calcium hydroxide. And it is a less reactive with water. Less reactive with water. And we can multiple times will get a question on this calcium. Why does calcium floats on water? Why it is floating on water? The reason is calcium, we can write the first reaction here. Calcium is reacting with water. It is forming calcium hydroxide plus H2 plus no heat energy here. So now we can just balance it. So this is the balancing of reaction. Why calcium floats on water? The reason behind this is the hydrogen gas which is evolved from this reaction, it forms a bubbles, and that bubbles stick to the surface of metal. That is the reason calcium floats on water. So I'll write the reason here why calcium floats on water. Calcium floats or calcium floating in water due to the bubbles of hydrogen gas evolved, due to the bubbles of hydrogen gas evolved, which is sticking to the surface of metal, which sticks to the surface of metals. So we call it as a, that is the reason it floats on water. Okay, so this is the case of calcium. We can take in magnesium also. So magnesium normally it will not react with the cold water, it reacts with the hot water. Magnesium will not react with cold water, it reacts with the hot water. Again this calcium floats on water. The reason behind this is same, that calcium forms that magnesium forms bubbles of hydrogen, and that hydrogen bubbles they stick to the surface of metals, and that is the reason that calcium also floats on water. So magnesium reacts with the hot water to form a metal hydroxide. Metal hydroxide and H2 gas, and H2 gas it will revolve. So Mg plus H2O, it gives MgO plus H2. So this is the reaction of magnesium. It reacts with the hot water, not with the cold water. Okay, again we can discuss next metals. Metals like iron, zinc, aluminium, they will not react with the cold water or hot water. Instead of that, they will react with the steam. So metals like iron, zinc, iron, zinc, they will not react with the cold water or hot water. Will not react with cold or hot water. they will react with the steam. With the steam to form a metal oxide and hydrogen gas. Steam and to produce metal oxide. Again, there are certain metals like gold, silver, copper. They will not react with the water at all. So this is the reactions of metals with the water. We discussed it. Tomorrow we can discuss about the reactions of metals with the acid. So these are all the concept I think better understand. Again I can revise it. First, metals if they react with water, they are forming metal oxide plus hydrogen gas. Again that metal oxide, again they dissolve in a water and they can form a metal hydroxide and H2 gas. Again sodium and potassium, they react with the water very violently. So we are keeping them in a kerosene oil, not with the water, because the reaction is very violent and that is the exothermic reaction. And next is magnesium, calcium, they floats on water because of the bubbles of hydrogen gas evolved that stick to the surface of these metals, and that is the reason they floats on water. Next is iron, zinc, they will not react with the hot water or cold water, they react with the steam. Next is metals like silver, gold, copper, they will not react with the metal, they will not react with the water at all. So this is about the reactions of metals with the water. So tomorrow we are going to discuss about the reactions of metal with the acid. Thank you.